can beat anybody at any given time.
One thing I really like about the flag set is it does enable competition. The skill is going to stand out. You're going to notice here if you're joining us for the tournament. First of all, we have Toad distributing a sword. The wood sword is available to both runners right off the bat.
Yes, if this is your first match, there is no cave shuffle in this seed, so the caves are just going to be in their vanilla locations. The runners will know where all the caves are, and Slidick gets his first bomb drop and finds level 1 and is immediately key blocked in 2 directions.
It's a pretty good find on level 1 early though. You got to be happy to see this level because we are guaranteed 3 items, but we're not guaranteed a pathway to get to them necessarily.
Well, so far, more... Wow. Okay, game. I mean, you get a free Triforce.
Hey, there we go. We'll take that.
But you kind of need 4 keys.
Shatty finds level 6 in the traditional vanilla 1 spot. Level 6 is a little dicey to get into early. That can be a deep one with the shapes dungeons turned on.
It is so weird to see the piranha plants shooting swords. I don't know what to make of that.
You know, they're already unique with their hitboxes in Mario, but we could get... And Shatty, we will get used to as he takes the death there. That was a normal key he picked up. I think, right? That was just a normal old key with a...
Yeah. I think there's a different, unique shape for the any key, no matter which sprite set you're using.
And the piranha plants are Lionels, correct? As we confirm on Slidick's screen on the right.
Indeed, especially given that they were shooting swords out. I'm kind of curious as to what the wizards are going to be.
You know, I should know that, but I don't remember. You're going to see both runners are digging through level 6 here. Level 6 could be gigantic, but this could pay off early if they find an item here. And the enemy HP is shuffled, so I'm not sure if we know how many stabs it's going to take to kill one of those like-likes yet. But they could be in there for...
Some number between 7 and 11. Slidick finds a ladder block and then immediately finds a staircase. This is probably a transport, given how early it is in 6. The general rule of thumb seems to be that the earlier you find a transport stair, the earlier you find a stair in a dungeon, the more likely it is to be a transport.
It seems like that's pretty consistent in the shapes. I know there's plenty of times I've hoped, and that's a map on Shatty's side. I've hoped that a transport staircase was going to be an item, but not used.
You know, the map is not a bad thing to have in a level 6.
No, definitely not with shapes turned on. I would call this a non-miserable shape in terms of how level 6 is. Let's see if he finds an item in this one or not.
That is awful keys HP. For the ones that split out of the fires. Anything above 1. I think you want to buy those bombs, clearly. Like, just at 33 rupees a pack, you want to buy those bombs.
Yeah, not friendly on the high bomb price. You're going to see Slidick over here checking the shop. So because Cave Shuffle's not on, he knows there are shops, but he doesn't know exactly what he's going to find. And we're going to need a candle in this flag set in order to access the vanilla level 8 location.
However, it looks like the Armos is shuffled to be somewhere else. Nope, it's just changed where it is on the screen, but it's still a regular heart.
So the minor good news that gets Slidick closer to being White Sword eligible as Shatty grabs the Triforce, but he doesn't get a progression item or a more powerful combat.
And this is where I'd like to point out that we didn't see either item in 6, so there's probably going to be a progression item in there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that gets philosophically fun about these flags to me is deciding when to bail, because there are so many required items. We know we're going to need a raft because there's a dungeon where level 4 is. We know we're going to need a recorder, as we have a Patra with a wood sword slip. That's easy for me to say. A showdown with a Patra with a wood sword on the right side. But so many items are required, you're usually going to end up coming back to a dungeon.
Combined with the fact that we don't even know if the regular arrows are going to be required or not, because Goma can block whatever the Goma chooses to block.
Yeah, I believe there was a match recently decided on that Goma blocked silver arrow scenario. That's just something the runners are going to have to choose whether to account for that and purchase the arrows, or whether to just keep on trucking. And our candle's going to cost 68. Not a bad value, not super cheap.
To answer the question in chat, yes, Shatty did pick up the candle from level, or the Triforce from level. Slidick gonna take care of this blue dark nut here eventually, if it ever dies, and gets a key for his efforts. And ooh, Shatty making a play for the early money.
I like this move up here because I think he's gonna. No, he didn't dip left. He must have checked the other forgotten spot, because there's a spot up there that corresponds with the other forgotten spot shot.
Yes, that is the one that is directly northwest of level 1. He has seen that and knows the arrows are there. But it looked to be like what Shatty was doing was collecting some extra money so that hopefully he can come out of level 4 with enough money to buy that candle and not have to find a way to route in more money later.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it was 68 on the candle, so he'll hopefully be at this point. Or we could find a red one right here in level 4. Who knows? We'll see what's.
We all know what the answer to the items in level 4 is.
I'm curious.
We all
I
know
don't know.
maybe 2 hearts and a blue boomerang. Wait.
Okay. I was gonna guess book. Oh yeah.
Also, I like that the spinies are the dark nuts.
Yeah, that's fun. I feel like there was a lot of thought put into matching the movements from the games. Definitely done with care. And the ropes don't have an awful HP. They're not bouncing back, so easily taken care of there.
Do you see a staircase in level 4? This is probably our first item from a dungeon. Survey says it's a heart.
Alright, you're 1 for 2 so far. Now,
I mean, there are 9 of them in the item pool.
yeah, it's probably the safest guess, right?
Yeah, that is one of the things about Heart Shuffle, is because there's 9 hearts in the pool out of 23 possible items, your chances of any given item being a heart are actually pretty high in the early game.
So we'll see what ends up happening here. One thing that I think becomes an interesting divergence here is if this is successful in this dungeon and the runners don't get blocked out, where they choose to go from here, whether they move toward the level 9 spot or whether they get something where it's worth up A and back to start. But right now, nothing giving them a huge problem in this dungeon yet.
Operative word potentially being get.
I always throw that in there. I want to hedge a little.
Apparently this level 4 has a lot of keys in it, so the runners had that going for them, and hey, that's a block.
Yeah, and I guess Slidick's clearing the room to back out down because we know he can't. He doesn't have a ladder yet. So we'll see. We're looking for one more item in here, and it is a floor item, so that's why you're going to see him clearing so many rooms. That and the happy side effect of perhaps collecting another key or two.
Let's see. This seed is definitely not shy about the keys, in spite of level 1 just being absolutely terrible, with 4 locked doors to start the dungeon off.
My other anecdotal thing that I can't prove, but I believe, is this is exactly the type of seed, tough break for Slidick there. This is exactly the type of seed where you're going to build up to about 10 keys and then find the magic key really early when you don't need it. Seems like that's what always happens to me.
Look, if picking up 10 keys guarantees you get the magic key, you pick up 10 keys in every seed.
You just do it. You stick with it, right? And so this will be our first...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say this is our first real route divergence, as Shatty's going to head to the east part of the map. And that's where we really see one runner break away usually, is when there's route divergence, and whether that ends up being a positive thing or a negative.
So on the one hand, Shatty has not been to level 3 yet. Level 1 yet. So he doesn't know about the free Triforce. He also doesn't know about the plethora of locked doors that are at the start, so that may become a good thing. To answer the question in chat, yes, we found nothing but hearts. Level 1 was 4 key doors and a Triforce on the ground. Level 6 was no items after a decent amount of searching. And the only items we found are a heart container and 4 and a heart container on the Armo spot. And Shatty now has enough money to buy that candle.
So he's got the candle and he's got the money for the candle, and the shop for it is over here, and the one that's going to correspond with the arrows over on the coast. So he's going to check the level 2 spot, and he finds level 7.
7 in shapes generally isn't as bad to dig as it would be in first quest. Because 7 tends to roll a little bit smaller to compensate for 6 usually being a little bit bigger. A little bit on the mechanics of how the Shapes dungeons work. So, levels 1 through 6 share an 8x16 grid. So all 6 of them will kind of fit within each other like jigsaw puzzles pieces. Level 7 and 8 also share themselves an 8x8 grid, so they are often inverses of each other. And then level 9 is its own 8x8 grid of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that was something that took me a while to learn when I first started the randomizer, because I think I watched so many, we're going to be stuck here with the Goma block unless the bombs are nice. Oh, he gets a friendly bomb. The reputation of level 7 is that it's so deep and disastrous to dig, but with Shapes, a lot of times 6 is that one that scares me early on, like you say, based on the mechanics of how it's all set up.
And an early, what appears to be raft in level 7 for Shatty. So you find level 2 on the coast.
So the raft puts him up with a guaranteed spot he can visit now. So that could be big to get that one up.
As Slidick finds another heart container in level 2. Also tech deck rolled up.
They just completely defy the physics of the game when that happens. I feel like they're cheating, but I guess we as Link are cheating the entire time when we scroll through screens and click through blocks, so they might have owed us one on the bad guy side.
And that's a Gliok. And a split level 2. So one thing to note is that there will always be a room of the dungeon that touches the very bottom of the map area in every single dungeon. So sometimes if you have a dungeon that starts off really high towards the top, it'll end up being split by sheer virtue of there has to be something touching the bottom. Slidick takes a death right as he's about to get that Gliok down. He's going to have to go back there if he wants that Gliok kill.
That was so close. I think he might have had one more stab in, or he might have tied him. That was incredibly close. Nicely done. The bad guys just barely win this go round.
And I like what we're seeing from Shatty in that he is avoiding doing the hard combat rooms until he has to. Oftentimes you'll find that if you can do an easier combat room, it'll just be faster to get the very same result. Of course, this comes with the downside of if you have a situation where your raft or recorder or bow or silver arrows are behind 8 blue wizards, well, yeah.
Yeah, that was how my fate was sealed in this tournament. I had a race where I was feeling very fast, very confident. I had 8 Triforce pieces, but the silver arrows were deep in a dungeon where I made the decision to leave. And, you know, you got to do a little bit of math and a little bit of combat evaluation and evaluation of your own skills, all while determining how to fight your way through a brand new version of a game that took me 6 years to beat when I was way younger. So a lot going on in the minds of our runners here.
You know, I'm just gonna say it. This game is hard.
This game is hard. It looks easy when you're watching someone else play, but there are moments where it's difficult. To answer the question in chat, I'm going to guesstimate 6 years. I don't know. I was 4 when I got it, so I'm rounding up, maybe 5-ish or so. Back in my day, I was before the worldwide internet, so I won't go on my grandpa rant, but, you know, 6-ish.
And to be fair, I never would have beaten this game if it wasn't for somebody figuring out the whole level 7 thing, because I would have just never whistled at that lake.
Yeah, that my great aunt figured that out. But anyway, neither here nor there. To answer the question, Chad, I have no idea what we're talking about. So
we're talking about a game where you run around as an elf or Mario or Green Luigi or somebody, and just try to stab a bunch of bad guys, create some bacon, go share your cheese with a girl, and try not to die.
That's the big thing.
Preferably in that order.
Slidick's in one of those tough decision spots right now where he's found a difficult combat dungeon. It's not that large physically, and so at what point do we just get the Triforce and get out of there and maybe come back when we have a wand or we have a white sword? We'll see what he decides to do.
The other thing to note is he's already seen one of the 2 items out of that dungeon, so it kind of disincentivizes going back in if you can help it. Although the full health may be enough to give Slidick the edge he needs to just knock this one out of the park and find probably another heart container.
And it's way the heck up on level 9 too. And prior to having the recorder, the geography does matter time-wise. As Shatty's got to make a decision. He chooses to leave 42 rupees behind, which is probably the right call in this flag set because we know where all the free money is and he shouldn't be cash strapped really.
Especially when you combine that with the working knowledge that magical sword, you know where it is, and you have a decent chance of being able to pick it up if you decide to go for all the overworld hearts, which, honestly, the overworld hearts aren't entirely out of the way. Just in general, with the way the first quest overworld is laid out. The only one that's really kind of out of the way is the one on the raft spot, depending on when you get your raft. And maybe the one by Vanilla 1 if you don't have a candle on your first trip up there, or just have no reason to go back, and that's an item.
It's a not entirely useless item. I don't scoff at the power bracelet in these flag sets, just because before you have the recorder, you never know. It gives you that quick dip over to the magic sword spot, and we have one item missing still from the item in level 6's vanilla location, level 4. So you never know. It could matter, or we could never reference it again.
It also can be kind of nice to quickly get back to the level 6 area, as you were mentioning, as well as the level 5 to Lost Hills area thing.
There are also seeds brutal enough where no matter how good you are at this game, you suck up your pride and spend 30 seconds to visit the Heart Fairy.
Also, shoutouts to level 1 for having more locked doors behind the locked doors, and here's a heart container.
That was a good move to go back with the keys, though, because I mean, we've got 3 items in here. We got to find something that's going to allow some progress, I think.
Bear in mind that Vanilla 1 has 6 locked doors in it. So, the Shapes 1 often tends to have a lot of locked doors, and because it's usually more linear than Vanilla 1 is, you just end up spending a whole bunch of keys to get a wand.
At least that one was a free shutter door, not a key.
Also, Slidick now has the combat that he probably wishes he had about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I love having a wand at this phase of the game early on. It gives you that range, gives you a little more power on the rolled up HP enemies. So definitely just makes you feel like you're building momentum a little bit once you find it.
I feel like this level's going to be generally in the shape of an H.
That feels about right based on where we started.
But yeah, with the fact that Shapes 1 tends to move more linear, as we're seeing. I don't recall seeing Shatty pick up the Triforce in level 7.
I know he definitely got the raft out of it, but I'm not sure on the Triforce.
It might be Goma blocked. Which, hello. That's a required ladder.
We now know ladder's required. I think I can count on one hand the number of times ladder hasn't been required that I've played these flags, but we definitely got a hard confirmation now. That was silver arrows peeking at us on the coast there.
Yep, and it's double-hearted wand in level 4. Or level 4, level 1. Whatever level Slidick was just in. Sometimes the map looked like a 4, so I had 4 on the mind.
I've got you. It's definitely a level 1. It's Shapes. 3 items. Level 1. I got you.
Also Vanilla 8. We didn't have the map in 1, but the rooms that Shatty had went into, it made the shape of a 4. Or not Shatty, Slidick. They both start with an S. Please forgive me.
And Slidick's getting close to being Magic Sword eligible. He's only going to have a 20% chance if he gets the 10 hearts here, but he's progressing, and with only a wood sword, he may check over there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it really does depend on how you want to route in going back to 4. If you do route in going back to 4 at all, you may decide, I'm not going to go back to 4, in which case the magical sword's completely out of the way.
Yeah, a lot of that depends on whether you get back over there. And to me, sometimes it's that suck up your pride and this has been a miserable experience and maybe you need a magic sword. There's a lot that can happen along the way that could make finishing with a wood sword difficult, and it's just it's a value judgment as a runner where you have to decide individually based on your skill level. All right, it's going to take me 90 seconds to get a magic sword, but is the wood sword going to slow me down by 90 or more total seconds? So that's the stuff that's all fun to decide on the fly as you fight through.
And for me, another factor personally is how many hearts do I see early? If I'm in a seed where there's a lot of hearts early, like in this type of seed, I think the magical sword would have more intrinsic value because when you factor in the 4 free hearts on the overworld, you're more likely to be able to pick it up than not, versus a seed where there's no hearts early, and you have to pick up 2 overworld hearts just to get enough to get the white sword item. You're less likely, to me, you're less likely to want to go after that magical sword.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I know he's got at least 2 more free overworld hearts, depending on if he gets the raft in a timely fashion when he can get back over here. But he's definitely got the burn bush heart south of level 1 to get to, so we may see that come into play this.
The other thing that makes a difference is the red ring. A lot of times, because the red ring quadruples your defense, you'll find that runners start to skip hearts once they get the red ring because they don't need the health. At which point, Magical Sword kind of just completely drops off the radar.
And there's very few, if you're watching out there and you see a runner finish in the green tunic along with the wood sword, there are very few people that are excellent enough at both combat and defense to do that consistently. So for me, as like a mid-range runner, if I'm in a green tunic, I'm probably gonna go get the magic sword. As the dark nuts are just being evil in that shape room there.
The way I see it is runner's preference, but it's just a matter of how comfortable do you feel doing the combat. That's ultimately what it boils down to. There's no necessarily right or wrong answer on it. It's just a matter of what are you comfortable with, and did the game decide, here, have all the hearts early.
Yeah, these are the things that make playing this so awesome, or just making these decisions. And yeah, as pointed out by Eat My Steel, our tracker tonight, thank you, by the way, in chat, Shatty would love a wand or other offensive upgrade here, but he's doing a nice job of patiently battling the Patra with the woods.
You know, Patra looks a lot different. I wasn't aware that it was just a smiley face surrounded by crackers.
He seems a lot less intimidating in the Mario flag set.
Also, we should probably mention the absolutely massive key difference going on right now. Noting the fact that Slidick has gone to level 1 and spent about 3 keys in there, that's still a pretty significant difference with Shatty being at a whopping 9 keys.
Yeah, and once Shatty goes to level 1, like you say, unless he finds his magic key first, that's going to eat into it. But he may not make it back over in that direction for a little while at least. So that key difference could definitely come into play here as they're exploring the same area of the map geographically.
And if Shatty finds he doesn't need to get any of the items out of level 1, he could theoretically go out of level 1 spending 0 keys.
Yeah, because I can't imagine him going over there in the very, very near future. It's going to be whenever he up-A's and saves back to start. He'll probably scroll right on in there. But yes, I mean, he's at double-digit keys, and that looks good when you see 2 digits worth of keys up there. It's just a lot of confidence building.
Now this is where I'd like to make a quick note that it would require a go mode level 1 for Shatty for him to skip the items, because elsewise there is just no reason whatsoever to skip the 3 items in level 1 because of how small of a dungeon it is. Especially if he has Magic Key by that point.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that's going to be really good news, because whenever he goes back near start, and you're going to see Slidick use the wand here, which should double the damage on Patra. Whenever he goes back near start, that's going to feel really good to see level 1 with 3 items in a small dungeon versus something like level 9 that would be useless at this point. And Patra's going down.
Survey says the Magic Key is here in level 8.
Hey, remember everything we just talked about keys and thinking and decisions and all that? Well, that's out the window for...
Yep. Now that's a resource that Slidick won't have to worry about. Although, with Shatty being at 11 keys, if he sees a Triforce soon and figures depending on how many items he sees in level 8, he might decide to skip that magic key, especially given it's guarded by a Patra.
Yeah, if he finds a way to have that knowledge and be in the situation, he could get out of here without the magic key and have it work out really nicely for him.
Speaking of magic, Slidick has found the magic bomb wall to the transport stair in level 8, although this may just lead right back to the room that he was in before. It does. Shatty's also going to go into that transport. Okay, so no magic bomb wall today. There's another Patra. Shatty going to skip it. Be rewarded with the staircase. Slidick going to kill it. Be rewarded with something. Maybe death. As the red candle is in level 8.
Oh, and that's big in this flag set because now he would have had enough money to buy a blue candle, but that's free money right there. That we knew the candle was required, and we're right over by that spot on the overworld, so we knew he was going there soon anyway.
Is it Vanilla 8 at Vanilla 8?
Oh, is it in 8? I thought we were in 2.
Yeah.
It's late where I am. Okay. Yeah, it's late where I am.
That's okay. It's late where I am too. For all we know, they're in Vanilla 5 right now.
I knew we were over on the East Coast. I was in the right, just like I am on the East Coast.
Oh.
As Slidick gets the trifle.
So that badge is required.
Yeah, and that could make a difference here, having the wood sword. I think Shatty's going to put that off probably. And like you were talking about earlier, it's usually a good move to look for reasonable combat first and hope that that's going to work out. But he's going to have to kill that Patra at some point.
Yeah, you never want to start your seeds off by saying, hey, let me go kill a Patra for a Triforce.
Yeah, because he can always get back there later. And we know he's got to come back for silvers, so he's going to be right 2 steps away from this level at some point.
Shatty is now out of bombs in level 8.
I've always thought it'd be cool if there were a flag where a shop could be a trading post. So maybe, let's say you have 10 keys, but you need some bombs. You could go trade like 2 keys for a pack of bombs or something. I don't know if that's even mathematically possible, but it's just something I've thought seemed to be realistic within the narrative of the Hyrule economy. But maybe I'm just throwing something crazy out there.
You know, I like the idea. The only recommendation or potential change I'd add to it is, for those of you that are familiar with Oracle of Ages, that also had a trading post. The trading post in Oracle of Ages allowed you to trade certain major items for other major items. That could be kind of interesting if that existed. Although that would kind of although that would kind of break Z1 because you could just grab a ladder for whatever you need it and then just trade it back if you find you don't want to dig a level 6.
Yeah, there you go. We've stumbled upon another brilliant idea. Slidick is just going to peace out on level 7 and just keep rolling up here toward the northeast.
Probably on account of that Goma and also the fact that he has 0 bombs.
Yep, and so both runners have left that behind due to the Goma block. And we're going to see Vanilla level 5 spot. It looks like he's going to go grab the white sword item first. Let's hope on his behalf for a non-miserable enemy set here.
I think, unless you're missing... There's very... How do I want to say this? There's very few situations in which I think going to the level before the white sword item is advisable. A couple situations I can think of are if you have none of the... then you might just honestly opt to go into the level first. If you know the level is something like level 1 or 2 that's small anyway, in this case we know it's not going to be because we've already seen 1 and 2. Or if you're in go mode and the white sword item could just be a convenience thing. Also high level 3. Level 3 currently has... Oh, that's a bad sign for Slidick. He needs bombs in order to continue in this 3.
This may be where that power bracelet becomes his friend to get back, because he's going to have to leave and come.
Shatty is not going to have that same problem. He'll be able to take care of these Dong bros, assuming they don't troll him, which so far they're cooperating. Until that happens. That's 3. It exists.
And he's going to be fine here, because if he had no keys, the sort of linear path to it could make it difficult. He's in great shape, though. Back to double-digit keys.
Slidick has gotten some bombs, so he's going to walk back to level 3 now. This Tridongo worm is not something you want to see if you don't have a sword. Thankfully, the runners will always have a sword in this flag set, unless for some reason they choose not to pick it up, which they could. But they will always have the option of a free sword at the start of this flag set.
This locked door is not going to matter to Shatty. He's going to keep progressing on. It feels like it's time to see a huge game-changing item here. I got a feeling about this level 3. That's my prediction. We're going to see a game changer in here, which isn't going to change the game because they're both going to get it at the same time. But we're going to see a big thing.
That's a ladder block from most of the dungeon.
Unless we get really, really lucky right here and there's a ladder in this staircase, this could be the transport down to the bottom. Let's see.
You know what I actually think is going to make or break this seed more than anything else?
What's your prediction?
My prediction, as we see a heart on the floor, so that's our floor item found. I think it's going to be that raft out of level 7 for Shatty.
Yeah, at this point, it seems like, to me, it's about that time. Once he gets his Triforce, it's about time to go back to start for him. Now, he may scroll over and find that level 1 with the 3 items first. But seems like it's time for him to maybe use that and have some divergence here, being the only one with the raft. Or he could go over to the level 9 spot and completely do something different, because he's not far away from that.
To be fair, he has not been over there yet, so it kind of makes sense to go ahead and just knock this out while you're up here.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. That was Slidick that went to the 9 spot earlier, I think, not him. So, yeah, it makes perfect.
Although now the question is, if you're Slidick, where do you go from here? You've seen all the items in 1. You've seen 2 of the items in 8. I forget if he saw the floor drop or not. He has not seen the raft out of 7. He doesn't know where the bow is. I think he's still missing... No, he's not. I don't think he's missing an item or 2. There was a heart container early. So where do you go if you're Slidick?
I think, unless I'm wrong, he's going to realize he has... Does he have any options besides 7, or is he missing an item from 8 still, maybe?
I think... he is still missing an item from 8, because he has not gotten the red candle yet.
Yeah, so it would be the red candle. It would be disappointing, but it's a mathematical coin flip, almost. But maybe he'll go to 7, but I think he knows the Triforce in 7 is Goma block. Or is he going to go back to 6? We haven't seen any items from 6, right? Both runners just grabbed the Triforce and got out of it?
That is correct. He might actually be opting to go for heart containers, try to get a magical sword, and use that to break into 6, given that I believe 6 was choice robes.
Or he's just going to go toe-to-toe with him.
And
now he's got a potion, he's got 10 hearts, he's got a wand and wood sword, and let's fight it.
Shatty may have a faster level 2 than Slidick did, just by sheer virtue of killing Nagliok on his first run through.
Yeah, he came in with a lot more hearts for defense, so that's the kind of thing that will allow you to close a gap a little bit. This is going to be, like, right now, this is really close. I don't think any runner has had their break the thing open moment. So it could be whatever the raft pays off, or it could be whatever item Slidick finds by going back to level 6.
Or it could be both. It could be that there's one required item in level 6 and the other one's in the raft spot. So both runners will have the seed break open for them, but differently. The question is, will the recorder or the ladder make more of an impact in breaking the seed open? Or will the bow even be it? For all we know, it could be bow and wooden arrows to get past that Goma in 7 to be able to get the silvers in 9.
Basically, I keep a list while I'm playing of items that are mandatory go mode and items that are me personal go mode. And the only mandatory go mode we found is the raft on Shatty side. And the only I really like it mode item is the any key on Slidick side. So there are a lot of items still in play. We haven't seen silvers, we haven't seen bow, we haven't seen a recorder, we haven't seen a ladder, we haven't seen a red ring. So there's a lot of game left to be played here, despite the large number of Triforces that Slidick's picked up already.
Yeah, I mean, this really is not an easy decision for Slidick to have to choose between 6 to play Find the Magic Bomb Wall and 7. And level 9 is our Raft Block dungeon.
So that gives Shatty no head start on anything. He's going to go ahead and pop the bomb hole open. But after that didn't give him a huge edge. Yeah, the Raft could have been his game changer, but right now we know that's not going to really make a difference.
So Shatty's going to go back to level 1. Go ahead and do that. That will put Slidick at an advantage, as he's already gotten all the items out of level 1. And he is now digging 6. With the caveat that he will still have to go back to 7 at some point for the raft. But, as we see a ladder block, there is the second caveat to the caveat, which is that because level 9 is at the raft spot, Slidick will have at least the bow and wooden arrows before he goes back to 7 anyway.
Yeah, we know the wooden arrows are going to be required for the Goma. Obviously, the bow's required. We're going to see almost every single stinking item you could possibly get in Zelda 1 this time.
Well, the wooden arrows aren't necessarily required. It's very possible that the silver arrows are available without killing that Goma.
Yeah, that's true. We do still have other items in other dungeons. I was being judgy by putting them in 9 already. There's still a lot of options out there where they...
That's not to say they can't be in 9. They probably, given the way the seed is going, they probably are in 9, but we can't make that determination just quite yet.
That was my sob story for getting eliminated. I guessed that silvers were in 9. I was wrong, but, you know. You only live once, as the young people...
Also, what is the shape of this one?
This is a little H-y to me, right? A little H with some flair to it.
You know, we haven't seen a map yet at 6 either, and I imagine both of the runners, especially Slidick, would really like to see a map of level 6.
Yeah, now, and if I'm up on my knowledge of logic, you're supposed to be able to, in every case except for when you can't, you're supposed to be able to have access to a map before you're stuck with a bomb wall. Am I correct on that in terms of the technical aspect?
So that was changed to be where it would require minimal bomb walls. It's supposed to be more combat focused. The reason I say minimal is there have been multiple instances, both that I've heard about and that I've played myself, where you've got about 2 or 3 bomb walls before you get the map in something like a level 1 or 2.
And so how many have we seen here in 6? I guess it could be behind this ladder block, though. There's nothing saying that can't be what's keeping you from it.
Could be that. It could also just be something like a room that the runners haven't been able to clear for whatever reason, whether it's combat or something like a dig dogger or a ladder.
We'll see. It feels like Slidick's been sniffing around long enough that we might find something here.
Also, Shatty has picked up the wand. When he clears this room, he is going to pick up his second heart out of level 1. Most runners are now at 10 hearts. Actually, about even on items. The only major difference is that Triforce out of 8 for Slidick.
Yeah, and the required raft for Slidick out of 7, but he's required to go back there already. So this is really, really close at this point.
Yeah, the only thing that... The big thing is, when is Shatty going to go and get the Triforce out of level 8? Because that was kind of deep in the dungeon, and it also was patch blocked. compared to Slidick getting the raft in 7, which was pretty early in.
Did we get the dungeon item out of 4? I know we got the floor item. The one over by level 6. I'm not sure which items anybody...
I think we've only seen one item out of level 4, and there's the map of level 6. We might have seen this earlier, I just forgot.
Dang, he's almost got the entire level cleared here at this point.
And we're hearing from our tracker that the 4 stair item was a heart.
Okay.
And Shatty's now up to 12 hearts. I would guess that the magical sword is within his thought process, but he looks like he's going to go straight back into level 6 along with Shatty. This could actually put the runners kind of on even keel with each other, depending on how long Shatty spends in level 6 compared to Slidick.
Yeah, Shatty does have the map already. He's made some progress in here. This is very unique because there's a lot of 50-50 decisions and the runners are choosing to flip the coin onto its same side. So shows you they both know what they're doing here, as that drops just the bomb, not something else that would be ladder block that would be critical. Slidick's going to find an item here soon.
Yeah, he's physically running out of rooms that can have it. Although Shatty might be our first runner to get an item out of 6. He is. And it's the red ring. As Slidick has picked up the book in level 6. So, red ring with the red ring and the book in level 6, I think level 4 is the only option left, or that third item in level 8.
We've got the floor item in 4. We've got the item in 8. I think that's it.
Next, I think the only items left are, yes, that floor item in 8 and the floor item in 4. And it looks like Shatty's gonna go back to level 8. Probably pick up his heart on the way, just so that to have an 80% chance of picking up the magical sword if he chooses to go after that, which he may at this point.
Yeah, with magic sword requiring between 10 and 14 hearts, he's with 13. If he doesn't find another one, he's 80% eligible. And hey, like, why not at this point? I think I feel like he's got almost, I don't know, maybe he's not completely required to go to that level 6 spot, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
He might also just be thinking, because it's so close, it's worth the check. But I think we're going to see both runners back in level 8. The fact that Shatty has knowledge of the raft might be enough to give him a small edge here, but the runners are so even with each other that I don't think we can definitively say one runner has a lead over the other. And yes, you might say that, oh, well, Slidick already has the Triforce out of 8. Shatty's going to have to get that anyway, and they're both redigging level 8 at this point.
Yeah, so unless Shatty were to get the Triforce and then leave, we're very, very close to tied up, because we know he's going to get the Triforce on this trip.
Plus the other side of that equation. Actually, so one of two things has to be here in level 8. It either has to be the recorders in here, or the bow has to be in here, and the Goma blocked portion of level 7 has to have the recorder. Those are the only two possible options for what can be here in this 8 at this point. Unless the floor item in 4 is a thing. Or the ladder could lead to the stair item in 3. We also have not seen that.
Could we have the floor item in 4 be the recorder, And then in the Recorder Lake dungeon, we have the bow and the ladder. Is that possible? There's some chicanery that can go down, I think.
And on top of that, the chances of silvers being in level 9 are starting to go up enough that we may be looking at a required wooden arrow seed.
And the arrows are in the shop that is the burn bush right north of this level 8. And so if Shatty thinks about that and wants to go grab them real quick, he can afford them, and he has a red ring already. So he may dip in there and buy them.
Folks, it is late. I completely forgot that we've already seen silvers on the coast. There will be nothing required in 9, and given the plethora of items we've seen, 9 is probably just 2 parts, or boomerangs, or both.
Hey, you know what my scratch paper says right next to arrows costing 90 cents or $90 or whatever? It says silvers on the coast, but you know, we're just making sure chat's still paying attention.
You know, with the arrows being 90 rupees, that's just a little, that's like $1.50, $1.50-ish, give or take. That's, yeah, actually it's probably closer to $1.50. It's closer to $1.50, $1.25. If you convert rupees to dollars, because it's about 67 rupees per dollar.
Yeah, I mean, the arrows, basically all they want you to do is they want to get you in. They're like that new HP ink system where you pay for how much you print. Because you owe them a rupee every time you fire one. So if they sell them to you at a good deal, then they get you in early, and that's how the merchants hook you.
Also, in before Goma blocks ladder.
Goma is definitely blocking, to answer the question in chat from CCX, Goma is definitely blocking a Triforce in level.
Combined with, we don't know if the other item in 7 is behind that Goma block, so Goma could very well be blocking ladder. This is a weird scene. We're 52 minutes in and we have one progression item.
Yeah, this is very weird, and this really just shows you a lot about how the randomizer goes. Because if you're from the first-person point of view of either player, it becomes, I guess, frustrating to not have anything, but you have no idea what the other competitor's doing. Neither one of them's doing a bad job. They're just not stumbling into the good things that will help them. So it's a unique thing, the headspace of the runner at this point.
I would still give Slidick the slight advantage here because he's already gotten the Triforce out of this level 8. He doesn't need to go and find that. Shatty will. But I don't know how much of an effect that's actually going to have at this point. We haven't even seen 9 yet. 9, for all we know, could just be take 4 magic stairs to get to Zelda.
Yeah, 9 could be a 2-minute process, or it could be a 30 to 45-minute process, so there's a lot of race left.
And I think with the knowledge that Shatty gave us by checking the raft spot, we can comfortably say that level 5 is the Recorder Lake spot.
Yeah, I think that's literally impossible for it to be anything else at this point, so we're locked in.
And yeah, 7 is the level that has the Goma blocking the Triforce. I want to see a map of this 8. I really want to see a map of this 8.
It feels just infinite. I really just, they have just been in here. I don't know, yeah, I'd love to see the exact full shape of it.
Shatty's now going to fight this Patra in particular. I'm going to assume at some point he'll go back to the north side of the dungeon and try to fight that Patra.
Yeah, and I think Slidick killed this Patra. We've seen so many Patras. They're all running together for me in the seed. But I don't remember specifically, but there's nothing there.
to answer the question of how Slidick got a compass and Shatty hasn't yet, I don't think Shatty's done as much exploration of the north side of 8 as Slidick has. I think that's the major difference between the two of them now. Slidick is going to find his red candle right here and not take it, given he has the wand.
Yeah, at this point, he's got a repeatable damage. He's good.
Yeah.
That would save the 8 seconds also. I like a red candle, though, but completely unnecessary for him.
The real question is, where is this floor drop?
At some point, I'm wondering if there's a level 10 hiding, because where could the floor drop be?
Look, level 10 became unconfirmed when we saw the book. If there was a level 10, it was going to have the book and exclusively the book.
There we go. It's another idea. I should be taking notes for the suggestions channel in the Zelda Randomizer Discord. Which, by the way, if you're interested in picking up this game, is fantastic, helpful community. Check it out. It's the best thing I've taken up as a video game hobby in quite a...
We also don't bite, and we shower regularly.
I can't speak for number 2 for everyone, but I'll take their word for it.
I mean, you can't smell them through the internet anyway, so for all I know, they do.
Can't be that bad, then.
Oh,
there we
Slidick
go.
finds the ladder!
That's a gigantic find right there. Just feels like the floodgates have opened.
Now, Shatty is not very far behind on that ladder. However, there is just a slight edge right now for Slidick over Shatty just from that ladder alone, as he's going to pick up his silvers here. And now the items in level 3 and 4 are both open.
Yeah, this is huge here. And Slidick does not have the raft to go get that heart. So Magic Sword could be the difference if Shatty goes here. That could catch him right back up. This is gonna come down to the ending.
That is very possible. Shatty also now knows that level 9 has his raft block. He probably is just going to immediately go to levels 4 and 3 from here. Not even bother with anything else.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. I think he would just go right back there. It makes sense.
And that's where Slidick did the same thing. Slidick is now in level 3. So we know Recorder has to be found soon. It's just a question of how soon.
Because I think in that level 3, there were maybe 5 rooms we hadn't seen due to the ladder block. Okay, he's going to go elsewhere.
Shatty is back in level 8. Hopefully he will dig out this ladder. I think he kind of has to at this point. He's probably aware that there's no other place that he can go.
He's almost pot committed at this point. He's got the red rings, so nothing is super scary to him.
Slidick has decided he's going to head back up to the level of Vanilla 2. I want to say this was 7?
This was 7, and
wow,
he's going to be Goma blocked, right? But he is going to get the raft out.
That is an 8. Shatty's going to clear this room, be disappointed, but he's not far from the ladder if he just perseveres a little bit longer.
I can't see a scenario in which Shatty decides to leave the 8 without all the items here at this point.
Yeah,
When he's been in here this long, he's sticking it out.
Again, Shatty is not as far behind as it may look, as Shatty does have that raft out of 7, and Shatty also has the potential magical sword, which will speed his 9 combat up significantly.
Yeah, that's gonna be gigantic in the end game, I think.
I'm just trying to remember where the ladder was, because I want to say it was one of these Beamos rooms, but it had ropes in it or something.
It feels like it's really close. Yeah, I'm a lot better at that game if he had the map when he got it. But it feels like it's just a little south of right here.
It might be south of this room. Shatty. Don't skip it. Down on the bottom right, according to chat.
I'll take their word for it, honestly. And if he skips out of here without the ladder, that's sort of going to almost tie it right back up. Because Slidick's in this level 7, and I think he's going to have access to the raft, yet not the Goma, right? He's going to be Goma blocked out of the Triforce. He just got the bow.
I think we missed that in level 7 because we were kind of focused on if Shatty's going to get a ladder, and he's going to go back for the ladder.
I was staring at the left side, and I just saw him select swap his way, and there's silver arrows there. And Jiggly Saint called it out in chat too, so yeah, it's got to be true.
So bow is the second item in level 7. I guess we're not Goma blocked in level 7 anymore.
Wow.
Alright, level 3 or level 4 has our... what's it? Recorder. And then they go mode the rest of the scene.
Yeah, so Slidick just did something fantastic as a runner, which obviously he's only watching himself play. We're watching 2 people and keeping up. We thought he was Goma blocked, but he had something in his mapping or tracking that told him perhaps there was another option, and he went back perfectly right here, and it's going to pay off huge.
But Slidick does not yet have the raft.
If he comes out of here without it, then Shatty's right back caught up. We'll see what.
I don't think Slidick skipping the raft alone is going to be enough to catch Shatty up immediately. But I do think it's going to give Shatty time. Oh wait, you are Goma blocked from the Triforce. So it's literally a Goma room that has it.
Yep, that answers that. But yeah, so to me, being Goma blocked, I probably wouldn't have come back here and dug around for the bow first. And Slidick knew what was up and had his map marked and knew the scenario, and that knowledge and that decision is going to pay off huge.
The question is, Slidick's going to pick up the Triforce. Is he going to come back in, or is he going to go check 3 and 4 first, giving Shatty a little bit of time to catch up here?
And he's also got both options in level 5, because he could get the recorder from 3 or 4, but all of that's irrelevant. He's diving right back in.
Yeah. He wants to... Well, there's also the fact that 3 is kind of a pain to get into because of the Dodongos. 4, I don't recall what was blocking them in that dungeon. It's been so long since we were in there.
4, I think, was just one of those combat deals. I don't think it was a hard block. Maybe it was bombs and keys and stuff. They were in there in the very early game because it's up in the vanilla level 6 spot. Slidick's got the raft now. Great decision to dive back.
And I think with Slidick picking up the raft, that puts him firmly in the driver's seat for this race.
Yeah, he's probably going to go check that raft spot right now. He's going to see it's level 9. And then he's going to go back into one of the other dungeons, and he's going to find the recorder here soon.
Yeah, he's physically running out of spots, and Shatty just took a save out of level 8. Wonder if he's going to go back and is just trying to save scum his bombs a little bit.
He might be going right now to check that magic sword. And this would just be brutally bad luck if it's a 14 heart magic sword. He's got an 80% chance of success.
He is able to pick it up, but he still needs to get that ladder out of level 8, and it looks like he is going to go to level 4 instead. If level 4 has an accessible floor item and it's a recorder, Shatty will not go to get the ladder until he absolutely has to, because he will dig 5 first.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense from his perspective.
This cannot possibly be a ladderless seed, as we have the silver arrows as the ghost item. So for those just joining us, and we're not here for the earlier parts of this race, this seed really didn't have any progression items until the ladder out of level 8.
Yeah, the ladder was the huge game changer. Shatty found the raft early on, which a lot of times in this flag set could be a progression item, but this time it led to level 9, so it didn't help out. So the ladder was the huge game changer.
And the runners did check every other item before going to get that ladder out of level 8, which is how we know the red ring and the book are both in level 6. Also, this floor is kind of big.
Yeah, this is going to take some time physically for him to find this other item. And like you said, if it's the recorder, he's going to go dig that.
Still no floor item yet. It might be in the Swallmaster room. It's the recorder. That is going to put Shatty and Triforce in go mode. Not Shatty, Slidick. I'm getting people confused. It's late. But that's going to put Shatty in honestly a really bad position, because now he's going to go dig 5 before he goes back to level 8, which we know he needs to go back to. It is possible for Shatty to make the comeback, but it would take a catastrophic 9 from Slidick for that to happen.
The reason to stay tuned is because the silvers are on the coast. So at least we have a scenario where Shatty is going to know about he's going to know one of the essential items is not in 9, but Slidick's going to get a huge head start on getting to level 9. So it's going to take, and Slidick's they both have a bomb upgrade, they both have the any key. Slidick's got a commanding lead at this point. He is going to have to close it out here, though.
And the other two things that could help Shatty out are if level 5 is heavily ladder blocked, that would push Shatty back towards level 8. Or if we have the ever so lovely 4 magic staircases to get to sell the situation.
Yeah, he almost needs something that would seem annoying at the time. But yeah, Slidick is taking care of business here in the seed right now.
And you'll see a difference in how these runners... Well, here we go. Here's the potential ladder block. But you may see a difference in how the two runners approach this level 5, because one's still looking for a required item, the other is not.
Yeah, so you're going to see Shatty clearing more rooms because he thinks the floor item might... He doesn't know that the floor item doesn't matter.
Now, the one thing that may help Shatty out about level 9, in amongst all of the other things, if it is a Wizrobe heavy level 9, and there's a lot of shutter doors in forced combat, the wooden sword is going to slow Slidick down some if he's trying to be conservative about his bombs.
Yeah, he's not going to have the opportunity to use as many bombs for combat. Yeah, that could make a difference. I mean, he is fighting with silver arrows coming into. Money-wise, neither one of them has enough to just fire off silver arrows completely recklessly. But the magic sword could be effective.
And to answer the question in chat, the ninjas were the fires. Of course, the other thing that would help Shatty out is to either be heavily ladder blocked or to have both items show up rather quickly. Well, there's a compass. So Shatty now knows where the Triforce is. Slidick will not be far behind getting that compass.
Yeah, and once he gets the compass, he knows he needs nothing out of here except the Triforce. I think that was an accidental potion. I think everyone who's played this game with select swap turned on has done that at some point. So that could matter coming into level 9 if it's really difficult comp.
I mean, the accidental potion is basically just a rite of passage in Zelda 1.
Yep, we have all done it. So.
Okay, well, there's a map of level 5. And White Sword is here in level 5. That is going to help Slidick out significantly if he can pick it up. I am absolutely terrible with names, and I sincerely apologize for getting these two backwards constantly.
You know, there's been instances of that happening throughout history in sports, so it's fine. But yeah, the White Sword could be huge for Slidick here.
If he gets it,
that will double his off.
If he gets it, he might opt not to get it, given that he's already rushing in the direction of the Triforce, which it looks like the Triforce is going to be ladder blocked in 5. That is important.
Wow. So that's going to be a guaranteed return trip for Shatty if that's the case.
I'm harking back to the days where I thought Z-Man Zarby and Zeb were all the same person. Anyway, Slidick's about to get his final Triforce and about to go into level 9. Shatty might have found a way around the ladder block in level 5.
Yeah, so that saves him a little bit. And he's gonna get the Triforce, and eventually he will figure out where he needs to go. Just time is the only factor here. He's gonna realize that level 8 holds something, but and level 7 being Goma blocked, it was just a weird place for the bow to be. He's got a lot to figure out here still. Let's see what this level 9 looks like.
Yeah, that's the other factor, is Shatty's still looking for a bow. And Slidick is looking for a shutter door that doesn't open after killing all the enemies. That will be where Zelda is, unless Ganon has been killed, in which case it will open with all of the enemies still in the room. Furthermore, he's going to be listening for the roar of Ganon, as that will signify Ganon is 1 room away, and Boomerang in 5.
And we knew it was going to be bad news for Shatty, but now he knows what we know. So he's going to get out of 5. We'll see where he goes next. Now, I will tell you, I don't have audio turned on because I can't stand listening to the sound of my own voice in my ear. So I missed the recorder tune. I'm not in the loop on that, and I will not hear Ganon. But when you hear a big roar, that means we're next to.
I also do not have my audio turned on. And Slidick did not pick up the White Sword in level 5, so he's going to be doing this Wisdom-filled 9 on just Wooden Sword. Shatty currently has a very small window of opportunity if he can make level 8 and level 7 happen quick enough, in which case his Magical Sword will help him make some of the time back up. He is going to go to level 7 first. He kind of has to know that both items in 7 and 8 are required at this point.
And so the unique thing here is we know both sides of the picture. Slidick only knows, and it's a feeling that it's hard to describe, but when you're sitting there and you're looking at the race and it's heads up and your opponent hasn't finished and you're in level 9, it's a feeling that's unique. And when something happens like what just happened to Slidick there, which you get shuttered in a room with blue whiz robes, you drop a couple bombs, you can't clear the room, you're stuck in there, you only have a wood sword. It's a real mentally unique situation for him right now. So we know he's got a big lead, but he's in a tough spot. The game is really, Ganon's bad guys are doing a good job right now.
You know, on the other side of the field for Shatty, getting the bow out of 7 first may not be the worst thing in the world. I believe Sliddick's found Zelda here.
So he has one half of the puzzle figured out really early, so that's a confidence builder. All of those thoughts rushing through his brain, he's got one of the big questions answered, so that's pretty huge.
Well, I think the big thing about, as Shatty's picked up his bow now, with Shatty having the bow, that actually is going to force him into level 8. So picking the bow up may have actually given him more of a chance than he had before, although he might also be thinking, if he's fully cleared 8, he might be thinking, what did I miss in this seed at this point?
Yeah, if he's not marked that one item, that could be a lot. He's recording somewhere, but that doesn't tell us a lot because he's got most of the Triforces. And yes, Slidick is in a bomb unfriendly situation right here. A lot of the walls have said no thanks to opening up with bombs. He used a couple on Wizrobes. Both runners, from their point of view, are frustrated and or confused, or whatever you want to call it. Tensions are running high for both our runners right now.
Shatty is back in level 3. He might be thinking he missed a magic bomb wall of sorts in this level and can still pull an item out of it. We know that the item is ladder blocked, and he has to head to 8.
Yeah, I don't recall if he saw that south room with the heart container that was ladder blocked, or if that was only on Slidick's side. So maybe he didn't have knowledge that both of them were ladder blocked, or maybe he did and he's just taking a Hail Mary shot here.
Well, he just saw the ladder block there. Slidick is leaving 9 to get bombs at this point. The seed is just not letting go of either of these runners until it's had its fill.
Now, Ganon has set up the traps nicely this time around.
So now where does Shatty go? Shatty is going to go back into level 8.
And we know that's the right answer.
This could be... Now, this is going to be huge for Shatty if he does get the, if he is able to figure out which room he missed and is able to get the ladder out of here.
And it's a floor item, so on his map, he's probably marked that he's been there. So it's just a matter of memory and tracking.
And remember, he has both the magical sword and 12 bombs at his disposal. If he's able to get through level 8 with minimal bomb usage, all he's got to do is go back to 7, get that Triforce, and then he'll be in a position to go into 9. Slidick has not done a ton of 9 up to this point. He could very well take a lead over Slidick just from pure combat speed alone.
And Slidick still only got 4 bombs. He's walked by a couple of the medium secrets, which we know are at 30. I would just be buying the suckers at this point and just come in as fully loaded as you can. This is, there's a lot going on for both of these runners right now. And bombs are 33, which is high, but we have several of the 30 secrets still unused. So he might have to come back out and buy them, or let's see if 4 is going to be enough.
The question remains, how long will it take Shatty to go back to the room that contains that ladder?
Now I think we're actually close, right? I called the wrong room earlier, but we're in we are in the ballpark of where the ladder is.
We've got to be in the ballpark by this point. I seem to recall it was a room. It might be this room, actually. Okay, maybe it's this room over here. I know it was a room that you had to clear out all the enemies in. I want to say ropes were the main enemy, though. Like, I want to say it was a room full of ropes and had 4 BMOs in it. As Slidick is sorting down these Wizrobes in 9 as he has 1 bomb left. This is the kind of situation where the magical sword is definitely going to be a huge speed up. Using his last bomb to kill the Wizrobes. And he's down to 2.5, and he's down to 3 hearts. He's got to be a little careful about his health, too.
And he's potionless at this point also, and we have mean, speedy enemies who were polite enough. And if you're in chat right now, we have a really tight race. Both commentators do not have the runner's game audio, so yell at us in all caps if you hear that roar.
The other thing to keep in mind at this point, if Slidick dies this far into level 9, he may have to clear that blue Wizrobe room again. This is not a situation you want to be in as a runner.
No,
in
at some point
situation.
he doesn't have a letter to go buy a potion, and we know that's way the heck up in the northeast corner. He only has 10 hearts, so he's only got a 20% chance of the magical sword, and that's way far away to dip out. So if you're Slidick, you're just fighting through it at this point.
And the weight of if the other player is going to dot done is constantly in the back of your mind. You're just waiting for it to pop up in the channel.
At this point, if they're running with a clock, this is a high number at this point for this flag set to be getting up there, and this has just been a tough seed.
Yeah, this is not the kind of seed that generally happens with this flag set. It just so happened that this to me is one of the trolliest seeds I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this was a sneaky troll, to be honest with you. And to answer the question in chat, when we're hearing the roar of Ganon, you're also going to hear roars from bosses like the Dig Dogger we see right there. And there's a nuance to the sound that I know runners at a lot of different levels. It's so close that some people will clear a room and then leave again once the mini boss is killed, just to be sure. But there is a slight difference to the sound.
To answer the question in the chat of how was the seed, well, there was basically no progression in any of the dungeons until you got the ladder that was deep in level 8. Then on top of that, you had to go do all of your normal Triforce gathering with your combat and whatnot, and then level 9 has been heavily bomb blocked up to this point, to where Slidick has been just having constant bomb issues, although he does get a bomb in that previous room.
Yeah, it's huge. And we got it. There's Ganon, the bomb drop.
There is Ganon. Slidick does have to be a little bit careful just because he doesn't have a potion, but if he's able to get that stun lock, which so far he has it, this could be game, set, and match right here.
And it's 16 hits with the wood sword. He had the stun lock, lost it briefly.
15 hits later, Ganon goes down on Slidick's side. He knows where Zelda is. He is about to finish off this seed.
It's a good job
probably
killing that Ganon with the wood sword.
I don't think Shatty's yet been back to the ladder room. But Slidick sees the open door. He just has to make it through these Wizrobes. Not that hard to do with the red ring. And Slidick will be your first place finisher with an official SRL time of something.
Official SRL time of 1:24 and 46 seconds, and Shatty has immediately tapped out and forfeited from the race, as no one blames him for doing at this moment.
Yeah, the ladder was just in. I don't even remember what room the ladder was in. It seems like Shatty had been in that room before and just didn't clear it, or died while clearing it, or something went wrong with that ladder room. And at this point, I imagine both of these runners are thinking, the seed is over, we can delete it now.
Yeah, it's just one of those games, but that's how this goes. Sometimes it's a sprint, and then sometimes you fight through it. So, great job by Slidick to fight through this sucker.
Now remember that this is game 1 of a best of 3 series. Shatty will have a chance to take vengeance in game 2 and force a game 3. Or, if Slidick is able to win the next game, he will move straight on to the round of 32 to face off against... Let me pull that up.
It's going to be the winner of Fury and Liquid Husband. With Liquid Husband's got a 1-0 lead right now. Yeah, this should be a great
game. I remember you saying that earlier, and I just forgot again because reasons.
Because we were searching for a ladder. I mean, I was vicariously. I felt like I was in the brains of the runners, you know. But yeah, it should be a great game too, because this was a very evenly matched race. Both runners made good routing decisions. Combat on equal footing. Should be a great game too coming up.
Curious as to if we'll have either runner in for an interview after that, if they even want to talk about the scene.
I see it both ways. I mean, I may never want to speak about that game again if I were them, so I totally don't blame them. So we'll hang for a minute and see.
While we are hanging here, I'll go ahead and pull up the upcoming schedule.
We do have Shatty coming in.
Don't believe we have any more tournament races tonight. But we do have tomorrow a smorgasbord of races. We have Kevin versus Mr. Cab, game 3 at 1 o'clock. Followed by J. Coper to Dude at 7. Antlers, Willard J. Bradley, game 2 at 7:30. Unos versus Rambler, game 2 at 8. J. Coper versus the Dude at 8:30, which is taking place right after game 1. Toaster and Noji Beto is going to a game 3, and that's going to be at 9 o'clock. Fury and Liquid Husband game 2 will be at 9:30. Shatty and Slidick, the two guys that we just watched and have joined us, will be at 10 o'clock tomorrow. They can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, that's right.
And then Fury Liquid Husband game 3, if necessary, will be at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And now that we're joined by the runners, GG's to both of you. Or at least Shatty. Well, we got both of them in here.
Thanks, man.
So that was a seed that existed.
Pesky ladder.
Yes, the ladder was the determining factor in this race, as Slidick had pulled that out of 8 on his second trip in. I forget which room it was in because 8 was large and there was a lot of rooms and it was a floor drop.
I was shocked when it wasn't in 5. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, we really thought level 5 would be a determiner once somebody got the recorder, and you guys were really running neck and neck the entire time. At many points, you were in the same dungeon, you were in the same room, and Slidick got the floor drop on the second time in on 8 and had that knowledge that it was the ladder, and it was just one of those days at the office, I suppose.
But to be fair, 9 tried to make that race a lot more even. 9 definitely tried to even things out.
Yeah, I couldn't keep a bomb in 9.
Yeah, GG Slidick. We thought it was interesting. So the big divergences are bombs, and I just realized my finger slipped off my button. Sorry about that. Shatty had the magic sword. Slidick, you were kind of running low on bombs, but fought through with the wood sword. And I realized I'm just making a sequence of statements, and none of this is a question for the runners. So, hey, Slidick, what do you? How were you feeling there when you ran out of bombs in level 9 the first?
Absolutely terrible. I assumed he was way ahead of me. I felt really far behind the entire time. I just kept grabbing Triforces and leaving dungeons and not getting any items. And then when I picked a dungeon to go back to, I just didn't find any items.
Yeah, if you end up rewatching, that was sort of the theme of the seed. It was unique. I think also pointed out we were at maybe the 52-minute mark with a unique lack of progression items almost entirely on both sides. It was just one of those seeds where they were just not giving either one of you anything that was going to help you progress through the game until way late in the ball game.
Now, the one thing that we did think was going to make a difference is when both you and Shaddy were in 8 looking for the ladder. Shaddy had the magical sword by that point. So our thoughts were that if both of you picked up that ladder within a couple minutes of each other, that magical sword would end up giving Shaddy just enough time difference to keep it extremely even, if not give him a little bit of a lead in 9 if it was wizard heavy.
So we've got game 2 coming up tomorrow night. It's interesting. So I felt after a game 1, I don't really want to ask either one of you if you plan to do anything differently for game 2 because I feel like it's a poker game. You don't want to overplay your hands. So, Alsoa, do you have any questions for our runners?
Yes. How fast are you guys going to delete the seed after we get out of here?
I'm gonna go back in and look for the ladder some more.
Oh, Lord.
How many Patras were in this seed?
By my amateur, not actually counting, I'm going to say at least 6.
So many.
That's that's a low ball number. I think it was a tremendous.
Were there wizrobes in 9? I didn't see many wizrobes along the way.
That's where they were waiting for you, and that would have been a magic sword payoff at that point. Slidick actually was using bombs for combat in level 9, got bomb blocked, had to dip out and come back, and we thought that could be a difference maker. And then Ganon was friendly. Slidick, how were you feeling when you hit 0 bombs and then got that bomb drop right at the end?
That was an answered prayer.
That was kind of where we were with it. About, I think, 2 rooms west of Ganon, there was a pack of bombs. It was the floor drop when the room cleared, and it's just gigantic. Also, any more questions for our runners from you?
I think that's all I've got in me at this point.
Well, GG's to both of you. Go, I don't know what time zone you're in or what part of the world you're in, but wherever you are, I would go get some sleep after that one. And I assume it can't be worse tomorrow night. We're looking forward. You guys were a great matchup tonight. So GG's to both of you. Excellently played, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, guys. Good game, Shatty.
Yeah, good game. Thanks, guys.
Also, real quick, before we fully clear out of here, I just want to give a quick shout out to our tracker, Eat My Steel behind the scenes, both of our runners, Shaddy and Slidick, and our restreamer, OPT Lawyer, as well as my co-com partner, Mr. Dudlow.
And for Alsoa, I'm Mr. Dunlow. Thank you to Eat My Steel, OPT Lawyer, everybody helping out with the tournament, organizing things. And we will see you next time around.